We're holding a daf chav down at the bottom line, second to bottom line. Then we'll proceed to daf chav hey Amud Aleph. Today's Amud. Amar Avuna Hoysa Taliso Chagura Lo Mosnov. If his talis is covering his waist, even though it's not covering his chest, he's not properly covered. Nevertheless, mutter likrois kriyashma. Yes, you are allowed to say kriyashma like that. You have to be covered. As long as you're covered, as long as your earth is covered and it's in a reyes of libra. Doesn't mean though the tefillah, which is over the Melech, is Ajis Kasas Libra. He must be Chasa also Libra. I want to have the changes the tune be out as a kisei. We have Yidolem, Ajimor, when a person forgets, we'll talk to him without second line. A person forgets, and he goes to tefillin, there is a kisei, and then he covers them. So he finishes Achimor, Achimor Amud Risha. So he should finish the first part of going to the bathroom, Amud Risha, and then stop right away. Wow, and hold back. And I'm sorry, it's a question. And what says, why? Why do you have to stop the Amud Rishon? V'leiko, just hold yourself back. Just stop right there. Maybe it's only a dark. It's very dangerous. If a person is in the middle of going to the bathroom, relieving himself, and he holds back all of a sudden in the middle, that's very dangerous. A person can come show the disease of dark of throat cut. Silon, when a person is urinating, a choizer maybe is on midday yarka. Also could bring a person to the disease of yarka. Okay, soya absara. There's soya on the person. Meaning, it might be covered up, it's in his clothing, whatever, but it's on his body. There is some remnant of tsoa on him. So what's the halacha? Or similarly a case, Yado Munach is a base of kisei. He has one hand sticking in the base of kisei. The base of kisei itself is a mokum, you can't say kriyashma. And it's part of his body is there, his hand is there. So part of his body is on the tsoa. Part of his body is in the base of kisei. What's it? And Christ says, Ravuna says, what do we Krishma? Christ says, also likus Krishma. Rav my time, Ravuna, why Ravuna says, permits to receive, Kol HaNeshama, Talakah, my entire Neshama. And I'm going to say that can exclude his hand. But if I'm also likus Krishma, my time, if it's receive, no, my entire body, all my bones have to say Hashem Nichamoicha. So if it's just this issue of neshama, that's not your neshama. Neshama, you say with your mouth and your, it's called, says your mouth, your nose. That's where the neshama comes, breathes. But here it's not, and therefore it's permissible. But and the Chizis says no. In your body is connected to Tzoya. It's also Itma. Reach Ra, Shesh Likar. What about Reach Ra that has Ikar, meaning there is Tzoya there, and there is a Reach Ra for the Tzoya. Rafuna Mark Ramas. You have to remove yourself down Ramas. Because of Mark down Ramas, Mokish Posik Reach. And the Chizis says you deal with only you deal with the actual the reach is what bothers. Good Krishma. Tanya Kavasa the Fismal, if you're on a Fishmal like a negative Tzoya. This is like a Fismal. You can't read by the Tzoya. Like a Tzoy's Anu, like a Tzoy's Kalavim, like a Tzoy's Chatzivim, like a Tzoy's Tanagoylim, like a Tzoy's Ashbo. Sherecha Ra. All these things are Recha Ra. That's what defines Tzoa. If it was a different Rishus, it's own 10 Fache, or Noble Chasara. Yoshe B'tzidai V'kore Kriyashma. So what's the other solution? What must you do in the situation? You cannot see it. If you're far enough that you can't see it. Amrava, less Yichus Kavas Gamas Nisan, El Kihad Tanya, Laika, Adam Krishma, looking at Tsoya, looking at Chazarim, looking at Kalavim, Bisman, should not an oireis l'toicha. No, the problem with the Tsoya of these animals is only it's with another requirement that creates a problem. When it's really, smelling bad by you because you're using it in a process of creating. Oris, parchments, or right, or whatever, oris or behemoths. What about just the smell? They would put these mats in the beirav. People would go to sleep. And some would stay up in the basement and learn. But you see that they were not concerned with the reach. Because some people, the guy next to him is sleeping. How can he learn? And since it wasn't him, it was the chavrei, it is permissible. It requires tzoa alveres. Abayom mutter because kriyashma. Tzoa alveres. We'll see in a second. Tzoa alveres means the tzoa is not stationary. It's on the move. It's mobile. So what does that mean? That's not called you're in a place of tzoa. He happens to be passing through there. It's not tzoya. Rav Amar also likos kriyashma. Well, listen to the example. You hear what's going on. In other words, I know that's mutter because atame oime tachas ilan. You can't be in the same oil as a tumah and not become tumah. So the tameh is under the oil of the right. So it's tameh. V'atara oiver, and tameh just walks by, so he's tameh. But the other hand around, tara oimer taksilan, and the tameh just passes by over. He's tayar. That's tumah which is moving. Vim amad tameh. He stops. He's tameh. Same thing, it's also considered a piece of tumah. Rav Amar Chasam b'kviyus atolim milsa. But body Yeshem b'chutz b'achan moishcha. Acha v'yem echanech hakadosh Amar Rachman v'aleka. So it's not called when it's moving the machan, defining the machan. It's not machan hakadosh. Amar Papa pi chazir kitzoya veres. So a pig's mouth is always disgusting. So it's always disgusting. So it's like tzoya veres. Pshita. Lo. Tzricha avagav the slag binare. It just came out of the river. It's clean. Amar Rav Yehuda safik tzoya asura. Even safik tzoya chazal asur. Safik mi me'eglayim mutarim. Ikidar Rav Yehuda safik tzoya b'bayis mutaris be'ashpa asura. Safik me'eglayim afil ba'ashpa. Even if you know it's in its place, it's still mutar. What's in Me'eglayim, it's not quite the same thing. Me'eglayim is only usher while he's going to the bathroom, the Amid. Or that's only when it's the real Yisr, Torah. So this is the source of the pasuk of covering your tzoya. It says, "V'yati adacham mechutz ha'machon v'yatza shama chutz v'ksiv v'yasati adacham v'chisisas tzoyasecha." You must cover your tzoya. Otherwise, it's not Machanech HaKodesh. Okay, so yet it says before that you don't have to cover it. It just says you should go outside and and go to the bathroom. So otherwise, kan b'gdolim kan b'ktanim. When it's ktanim, just go outside. When it's gdolim, it's not enough to go outside. It must be covered. Am b'ktanim lo sotor keneged amud b'vad. Only b'neged amud. And therefore, if it's just on the ground, it is permissible. For Rabbanan, who did go to, the Rabbanan did come along and say even on the ground, if you have a bear glying, it's usher. Only on when it's for sure there. Now, what point is there? What point does it evaporate or go away? Calls man that if you touch it, it'll get something else wet. As long, even though it's not there really, it can't get anything wet, but it's still recognizable. Rishuma nikr. Omer Rabbi Yosef Sharale the Mori the Gneva Hashat Soya. Omer Rabbi Rav Kevin Shekam Panea Mutter. Now Soya is funny. It's there, but once it tries to dry out, it crusts. It dries out. It's mutter. So over here, it's Rishuman. It's in the ground already. Meglaimi boy. What's the shaila? Amar levai my chazos. The sub smochahad. The Rabbi Brahun Amar Tsoya afilu kecheres. So he actually holds it so itself. Regardless how hard it becomes, it's still called soya. What defines that? You throw it, and it doesn't dissolve. It's still there. It breaks or whatever, but it's still there. Maybe. If you roll it and it doesn't disintegrate. See if it's dried out on top. If it's starting to have it's starting to dry out to the extent that there's holes and there's spaces in it. There's holes. Soya kecheres ameimar masura mazuta muteres amarav hilchasa soya kecheres asura. Soya, once it's like a cheres, it's like clay. Dried out, it is forbidden. Okay, we'll stop.